Da vi tilbake med gjest nummer 2, and I have to switch to English, Marty Jimmerson, CEO of NorAm Drilling. Thank you so much for joining us.
Our pleasure to be here.
With you got the merchandise right on there on your shirt. A lot of people know this company as a Fredriksens sort of in that sphere of companies, operating land rigs in the U.S. Let's start there. Pure play Permian player with rigs in the U.S.?
Yes, so we own 11 super spec drilling rigs. We built the first 9, and Thomas Taylor, our COO, is the father of our rigs. We acquired 2 additional rigs from a E&P company in late 2017. And what makes us unique is that we have upgraded all of our rigs to accommodate the super spec requirements to operate in a Permian, which allows you to drill the longer laterals and efficiently move the rig quickly to assist our customers.
We could joke about, the TV show Landman, but for, most Norwegians are more familiar with offshore platforms like you see in the Gulf of America than what you see on onshore in the U.S. But yeah, talk about how this sort of industry is developing now with a lot of consolidation happening in the last year and a half or so. That includes the Permian with Exxon acquiring Pioneer and a lot of other deals going on. Is this industry maturing in the U.S. or being more sort of professionalized or becoming more big corporate? It
certainly feels like it's becoming more corporatized, if you will. We've been impacted, like many other contract drillers, through mergers and acquisitions of E&Ps. We continue to hear there's still maybe a couple out there to occur, but if it continues at the same pace it has over the last couple years, I think I'll be a little bit surprised. It kind of feels like everyone's kind of found their level of water. You saw recently this past week that Conoco announced they're shedding 25% of their workforce. I think these companies need to achieve these synergies that they're striving to achieve.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you about that, given that the fact that you're on the ground. Cutbacks in ConocoPhillips, Chevron. Are these cuts going mostly in the U.S. part of their businesses, onshore, offshore, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, we're not necessarily seeing it on the land side. I think it's more back office and eliminating duplicity from the M&A acquisitions, if you will.
Like Chevron buying Hess.
Yes. Yeah. And so, from our perspective, it's more about the production, in terms of, it seems like we've peaked on our oil shale production in the U.S. The Permian is a catalyst, for the oil that needs to be drilled and extracted. And so to me, it's more about, the budgets, maintaining the budgets, the operating and financial discipline of the customers, and ensuring that they're returning money to their shareholders and not extending their balance sheets.
What sort of activity? Talk about that a little bit more, because we got an oil price 63 now for the WTI, 67 for Brent. Decent times, but not a big party. But then we're seeing CEOs of Chevron, Exxon talk about the U.S. will set records this year, production-wise. How much, like you said, you're expecting this to be the top? How fast will it go down, you think? Will we see a sort of gradual slowdown in production, still maintaining a fairly high U.S. production? Or is this number, given today's oil price and rig counts, coming down faster?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think it's uncertain to see where we land. What's interesting is that the Permian rig count has declined 50 rigs year to date. 46 of those reductions have occurred after March 31st. But more interestingly is, with oil kind of WTI around 63, 64, if you will, the rig count's been flat over the last 4 to 5 weeks. So I think we're kind of at that current level to where the rig count is stabilized in the Permian. I don't anticipate any major changes subject to WTI changing. But what we've yet to see, and I'm, at least a little bit cautiously optimistic, is we've not seen the impact of the 50 rig reductions on production.
So efficiency is still increasing.
Yeah,
one would
efficiency
assume,
is
right?
increasing. Yeah, and I mean that's what NorAm brings to the table. How well we drill, how quickly we move our rigs, but inevitably, a 15% reduction in rig count cannot be offset by just efficiency and technology improvements on the customer side.
You write in your most recent releases that you're planning on. I mean, I could almost call you Marty the dividend legend Jimmerson, because you're planning on, as you write in your releases, that this company's got to be a big payout for shareholders. If you get questions here from investors, are my dividends under pressure given today's oil price, given cutbacks at these companies, that they want to renegotiate their contracts with you?
Yeah.
To push rates down? Yeah.
Certainly a good question. What I'm pleased about is that we continue to renew our expiring contracts. First of all, our day rates are stable. But more importantly, we're starting to see contract terms extend. And so let's say, for example, the majority of our contracts are 6-month contracts. We signed a contract just as recently as last week for 12 months. So that is indicative of kind of how I think customers are starting to think about the marketplace. Are we at the bottom? Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Are we close to the bottom? I think so, because you're starting to see our customers even being willing to sign longer-term contracts. To answer your question, what I think that does is, barring a significant change in WTI, it feels like the dividend, whether it's at 3 cents or 4 cents or 2.5, whatever it is, we're going to continue to pay out our cash flow. And I think that's one of the benefits of NorAm is we have the lowest break-even cost structure in the business, very efficient, very lean, and we know we operate our rigs very well.
Because you're running almost over 10% annual dividend yield at this point, right?
Yeah, I believe it's 13% as of today.
Which is not bad. I wish my bank would pay me that kind of interest on my savings account. But do you have any investment needs, CapEx needs for these rigs, your 11 rigs?
So for the most part,
in the foreseeable future?
As of today, other than possibly drill pipe, there's no real near-term CapEx requirements. If there are, which certainly we would consider, we would anticipate that our customers would assist with subsidizing and enhancing the day rate. Drill pipe's a great example. There's been some questions out there recently about our current PSI, fluid ends are accommodating 7,500 PSI. There's talk about going to 10,000. Yes, we can go to 10,000, maybe an extra engine, a mud pump, and fluid ends, but those are expenditures that we would expect our customers to compensate us for.
And talk about your sort of business model now going forward. Like you said, contracts are being extended in length. Mm-hmm. But if we look at the analyst estimates for your company, I mean, revenue, net income, very stable, mm-hmm. going from this year into next year, sort of 90 plus million revenue, 10 plus $1 million net income level. Is that because of the contract structure you set out that you sort of try and achieve a very stable cash flow into the company as well?
Yeah, so I think you have good vision into the revenues. Again, our operating costs do not fluctuate. Probably 60-70% of our operating cost is payroll. And we have a good handle on our R&M. And so with minimal $3 to $4 million of maintenance CapEx per year, I think you have, a good vision into the outlook with our given backlog.
And are you looking to expand beyond your 11 rigs?
Yeah, no.
In the fleet, or how does the market look for, I guess, either new builds or acquiring?
Yeah,
rigs secondhand?
I personally do not see new builds anytime soon. Clearly, we're always interested in doing what's best for our shareholders, enhancing shareholder value. We have a track record of acquiring 2 rigs and upgrading them. For the right opportunities, we would. But what's key to us is maintaining the standard equipment specs throughout our fleet, being able to get the synergies from operating out of one location in the Permian. And so the answer is we'll always look to add rigs, but we want them to be same caliber as our rigs. We would look to possibly extend or expand into other basins, which we have operated in other basins historically. But we need to do it with achieving critical mass rather than just moving one rig to a new basin.
Marty Jimmerson, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see what OPEC does. They could help us out with not pumping so much oil into the market, but we'll see whether the 67 Brent, 63 WTI is about a bottom.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your stay in Norway.
For å se mer, klikk deg inn på FA.no/TV, eller se oss på storskjerm når du vil ved å søke opp Finansavisen på din Apple TV.